Hello, Gordon here. Hope all is well with you. And this Facebook Live I've called Women's Rugby Kick It 300 Miles. Because this weekend I've been watching Women's Six Nations Rugby. I wasn't able to watch the game between England and Italy because of due to rights issues. That's not on normal television, it's only on subscription television. But I was able to watch the Scotland-Wales game on Friday night and the Ireland-France game on Saturday, because they were both available either live or on catch-up. And there's a couple of stories, one from each game with huge goal achievement, self-improvement points. So that's what I'm talking about today. So let's look at the Scotland-Wales game. Friday night, which was International Women's Day, and those women rugby players celebrated womanhood, the sisterhood and International Women's Day by knocking 7 bells out of each other and then shaking hands afterwards, because that's what rugby players do. It was a great game. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen the scores of either of those games and you don't want to because you want to watch them on catch up, then I'll give you 5 seconds because I'm going to cover the scores in both of the games. Right, the Wales-Scotland game was won by Wales with the last kick of the game, a try conversion. And the point that struck me in the Scotland-Wales game was the commentator was talking about one of the Welsh players who, they have jobs, by the way. The England players are fully contracted, but only recently. There's about 8 Scottish players that are supported, some French players, but by and large the rest of them, they have jobs as well as playing international sport. And one of the Welsh players, she makes a 300-mile round trip to go to training. I'm going to say it again. She makes a 300-mile round trip to go to training 3 times a week. And she's got a job. Now, she's got to have a fairly reasonable job, I would say, to pay. That's 900 miles a week. So travelling 900 miles a week is not cheap, is it? So that's got to be funded. That's got to be funded somehow. And she does it 3 times a week around a job. Now that is dedication and passion and commitment. You can't get much more of a goal achievement, self-improvement point than that, can you? If she doesn't make the 300-mile round trip to training 3 times a week, she's not going to get in the team. So she's got to do it. And she does it because she wants to. And she wants to because it's a passion for her. It means something for her. I'm going to be covering this later as well over on my online Passion Profits page, by the way. So watch out for that later because, of course, you have liked that page, haven't you? Online Passion Profits with Gordon Bryan. You have liked that page. I'll put a link to that below this video once I posted it, just in case you haven't liked it yet. So yes, 300-mile round trip 3 times a week in addition to a job. Dedication, passion, impressive. Now, the second game that I'm talking about was in Ireland, Ireland playing France. And again, most of the French players are financially supported in one way or another. A lot of the Irish players aren't. They've got jobs as well. And there's a player playing for France who I've spoken about before, Jessie Tremoulier. And she was voted the World Women's Player of the Year last year. And I've always noticed her. And she first came to my attention because of her goal kicking. And it was her first game back after an injury this weekend. And she scored 12 points with the boot, with her kicking. Now you might think, yeah, okay, what's the big deal about that? Goal kicking is part of the game. Well, hang on. In the men's game, goal kicking is absolutely vital. If you think of Johnny Wilkinson and Fox for New Zealand and Neil Jenkins for Wales, these kicking machines, that if you had a penalty or a conversion, you would expect them to put points on the board. But in the women's game, it's not the case. There are some kickers in the game. It's Katie McLean for England, but Jessie Tremillier for France really stands out as a kicker, as a point-scoring goal kicker. So when France score a try and Tremillier is playing, you expect her to add the 2 points on for the conversion. But when any other team scores, Ireland, Wales or Scotland, you expect the conversion to not be scored. Okay, it might be scored, they might kick it, but by and large, you expect them not to score. Now those 2 points here, 2 points there, 2 points there, add up to make a huge difference. If one team keeps scoring these 2 points and the other team doesn't, it is a huge, huge advantage. And she scored 12 points yesterday, and the Irish missed their conversions. Now actually, the Irish got beaten anyway by, the French were the better team, so the best team won. But this points difference is huge. And in the men's game, I've spoken about these kicking machines in the men's game. Not only do they have a kicking coach, they have a team of kicking coaches. But in the women's game, you'd be lucky there may not even be a single kicking coach. So any kicking training is done as part of the regular training, or it's done off the player's own back. Now, when England won the Rugby World Cup, Clive Woodward was a celebrated coach, Sir Clive Woodward now, and he always spoke about marginal differences. If you can make a 1% difference in one area and be 1% better than anyone else, and then in another area of the game make a 1% difference, and then in another area of the game make a 1% improvement, they will all add up to make you far enough ahead of the opposition. And this is something that can be illustrated with the kicking in rugby, which is why I'm talking about it, because it's a huge goal achievement, self-improvement point. If you look at the Japanese term, kaizen, of constant and never-ending improvement. If you look at the 5 key areas of life, health, wealth, career, relationships and lifestyle, what could you do for constant and never-ending improvement in any or all of those 5 key areas? What could you do a little bit better? Now, there might be things that you could clearly do a lot better, but a little bit better is always going to be better than doing nothing, than accepting the level you're at, or going backwards even. Can you see the point? It is a huge point. Now, there's 2 massive goal achievement and self-improvement points there from the games, aren't there? This 300-mile round trip to training 3 times a week that Welsh rugby player makes. I forgot her name, sorry to her. When the commentator made the point, I was stewing over the point in my head, and by the time I'd realised I hadn't heard her name, the game had moved on, so apologies, I didn't catch her name. And then there's Jessie Tremillier with her kicking for France, and that small difference that the men don't have a kicking coach, or the men have teams of kicking coaches, but the women, a semi-professional level game, doesn't have a team of kicking coaches, even if they have a kicking coach at all. And it's the small incremental differences. So all the other international teams, I say England, Katie McLean is a good kicker, but the Welsh, the Scottish and the Irish, if they can get a goal kicker who is as good as Jessie Tremillier, that is going to improve their tally on the scoreboard a huge amount, by maybe 10 or 12 points in every match. Now, I'm not being insulting to the goal kickers for the Welsh, the Irish and the Scottish. They can all kick better than I can, let me tell you. And they're not, I'm not saying they're crap. It's just that they're not at that level that Jessie Tremoulier is. And she's not, you know, stratospherically, stellarly good. Her kicking style is still a bit cumbersome, to be honest, but it gets the job done. And that's the important point. So, let me know what you think. And remember, excuse me, I'm going to be talking about rugby again in a video later today on the Online Passion Profits page as well. If you like that message, do hit the like button. That helps me share my message further via the Facebook algorithms. Let me know what you think. Do you watch rugby? Do you watch women's rugby? Do you travel for sport or a hobby? A lot of travel. Or what are those small marginal differences that you could be doing in those 5 key areas of life? Okay, signing off for now. Hope all is well with you. Wishing you, as ever, health and happiness. And I'll speak to you again soon.